As I'm sure you've all heard by now by the flood of videos in your sub box about this right after the most recent Pokemon Presents event, we have a couple of new Pokemon games coming out very soon. We have Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes for the Nintendo Switch known as Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl, and then this other Pokemon game called Pokemon Legends Arceus that seems quite different from any other Pokemon game we've had so far. We also have Pokemon Snap, I guess, which I don't think I'll really talk about much in this video. I'm just mentioning it now since I'm sure if I didn't, somebody would comment about it since it is technically an upcoming game. Today, I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on these games and give an overview on what we know about them so far, as well as some speculation I have for what these games could be. First, let's talk about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl. These are direct remakes of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl for the Nintendo DS, similar to what we had with other remake Pokemon games in the Pokemon series. Typically when Pokemon does remakes, most notably with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they add upon the original a bit and make the games a bit more modernized. It's still unclear if we'll see something like that this time around with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but either way, it's still a Diamond and Pearl remake like many people have wanted for years now. I remember hearing rumors for this game before Let's Go even came out, even on the 3DS it's been that long. It's also unclear as to if these games will implement any of the changes that Pokemon Platinum had as well. While the changes in Pokemon Platinum were pretty minor, it did change around some of the Pokemon that some of the trainers had, as well as change the flow of the game a little bit, making it a much better experience overall. There has been some speculation on the internet thanks to some screenshots from the trailers that could suggest that we might see some of the Platinum changes, and seeing as Heart Gold and Soul Silver also implemented some changes from Crystal, it isn't out of the realm of possibilities for Diamond and Pearl to see the same thing with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. In terms of how the game looks, which I guess is the elephant in the room when it comes to Pokemon games nowadays, it does look a little weird to me. I don't personally hate it, but I don't exactly love it either. I see what they were going for when they chose this art style, making it look similar to the original style of Diamond and Pearl, but in 3D and on the Switch. I personally expected the game to look just like Sword and Shield if we ever did get a Diamond and Pearl remake, much like how every other first Pokemon remake game looks like the games that were released before it. For example, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire look a lot like X and Y, and Fire Red and Leaf Green look a lot like Ruby and Sapphire. I do think that people would have been more upset if they looked just like Sword and Shield, however, so I like that they're at least trying something completely different. It is a bit jarring though how some of the battle transitions are, since it would go from this cutesy art style in the overworld to what looks like basically just Sword and Shield battles in an instant, and the characters look very different. It's not the end of the world, but it is weird. A lot of people like to compare the style of the overworld to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl to the style of the Link's Awakening remake on the Switch released about last year, although overall I think that the Link's Awakening remake looks much better than Diamond and Pearl remakes. I understand that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are all just pre-release footage that most of us saw during a live stream in like 720p quality, so maybe when the full game releases it'll look better. I have even seen some small mock-ups on Twitter that people have tried where they made the game look slightly better by doing things like adding more shadows and more thicker lines on each of the characters, which hopefully we see something like that implemented in the final version. I also think it's pretty neat how they outsourced this game to another company being Ilka, meaning Game Freak can put their focus on other games, which we'll talk more about in a bit. I think this is the right way to go about a remake game for the Pokemon series, since the foundation is already there. I'm sure that these games will be good though, since they are remakes of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, a fan favorite Pokemon game and my personal favorite in the series, and they'll probably end up running better than Diamond and Pearl did on the original DS, since if you guys remember, the Diamond and Pearl games on the DS ran horrendously slow, something that I realized again when I recently played through Diamond again for the Nintendo series about a month ago. I'm still curious to see what they'll do with the Pokétch though, and if things like the VS Seeker will be back, since that was a very iconic item in Diamond and Pearl for Wi-Fi battles, and speaking of Wi-Fi battles, if they'll fix the timer and allow us to have an actual 1 hour long Wi-Fi battle, and also what will happen with things like Mega Evolution or Dynamaxing, and how will they end up handling the PAL Park. In the original Diamond and Pearl games, the PAL Park was used to transfer over Pokemon from your Game Boy Advance era games into Diamond and Pearl, so maybe with this game they can convert it into a wild area or something like that. I'm not sure how a wild area would work in this game with this art style in the overworld, but I imagine they'd repurpose the PAL Park into something else at least, since they can't use it for its original function. Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing would make sense if competitive battling moves over to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl though. Back when Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out, they introduced a couple of new Megas in those games, and competitive battling did move over to those games from X and Y, but if Game Freak isn't working on Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, then I'm unsure if we'll actually see new Gigantamax Pokemon, and if competitive battling will actually move over to this game or stay on Sword and Shield. If we take a look at ILCA as a company though, they do work with Pokemon Home, so they already have a working relationship with Pokemon at the very least. They also assisted with other big games like Yakuza 0, Dragon Quest IX, and strangely enough, they worked on this Domino's pizza app that features Hatsune Miku for some reason. I don't know who asked for this, but looking at some screenshots, the Domino's app they have in Japan looks way better than the American one. I have seen some people complain that they were upset about ILCA making this game since ILCA makes a lot of mobile games because mobile games can't be good apparently. Although aside from Pokemon Home, if that counts as a mobile game, I can't find any other mobile games that ILCA have made themselves. They've just assisted with many other console games to some capacity, usually involving the game's arts or assets. In the end, these are the games that people have wanted for years, and they actually listened by changing the art style a bit since Sword and Shield don't really look that great. I'm not exactly sure what else people expected when it came to a remake game, since it is supposed to be a remake after all, but I'm sure if you were a fan of the originals, you'll also enjoy these as well. And now we have the big one, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I have more questions than answers when it comes to this game, which I guess is a good thing since it means I'm excited to learn more about it. To briefly explain what this game is, it's a game that takes place in the Sinnoh region years before the events of Diamond and Pearl. The official website for this game says that you are tasked with catching and surveying the wild Pokemon in the area to create the Sinnoh region's very first Pokedex. It's also described as an action RPG, interestingly enough, and based off of that and what we saw from the trailers, it honestly seems like a Pokemon version of Breath of the Wild, which is what a lot of Pokemon fans have wanted for years ever since we first heard about Sword and Shield. In terms of the actual gameplay for Legends Arceus, it looks like you can run around and catch Pokemon in the area sort of like how you would do in Pokemon Go or even in the wild area of Sword and Shield. However, you can just throw Pokeballs at the wild Pokemon without actually battling them. You could still battle them if you really wanted to though. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this game will have any online connectivity, which means you can't battle or trade with friends, so I'm curious to see how battling will work in this game if there's no online, and if competitive battling like VGC will stay on Sword and Shield or move to Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl. In terms of how the game looks, it's very different from what we saw with Sword and Shield. While I think Sword and Shield hate in general is blown out of proportion online, mainly for impressions and views and whatever, the games do have their fair share of flaws and look worse than other Switch games like Breath of the Wild and even Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is just a port of a Wii U game. Some places in Sword and Shield look better than others, but Legends Arceus looks like a noticeable step up from Sword and Shield to me. I also wonder where this game will fit in the actual Pokemon timeline, as it seems like in terms of the literal timeline, it would be the oldest time period in the Pokemon world, and in terms of which generation this game will fit in, will this game be considered part of the Generation 8 timeline or is the start of a new generation? Will we see new Pokemon never seen before in this game or not? I know a lot of people will disagree with what I'm about to say, even Game Freak themselves have said this though, but Legends Arceus is apparently a main series game and not a spin-off like Pokemon Snap or Mystery Dungeon. It'll certainly be very different than most main series games we've had, however, much like how Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are technically considered main series, although they are very different from what we saw with other Pokemon games like Sword and Shield or Diamond and Pearl. Now time for some wild speculation since we know so little about Legends Arceus. I'm confused on what the main objective really is. I'm not going to go into any potential rumors or leaks since the vast majority of rumors end up being untrue with Pokemon games, but from the trailers alone we didn't see any towns, any gyms, or any other characters in it really besides the main two characters. I really wonder if there will be battles beyond just these wild battles, with perhaps some sort of rival or evil organization that gets in your way and fights you on your journey to document the entire Pokedex, or if you'll be able to take on the Gym Challenge in hopes of becoming the champion of the Sinnoh region, possibly even the first champion of the Sinnoh region, similar to what we saw in Pokemon Sun and Moon where you actually end up taking on the Elite Four for the first time. Legends Arceus seems like a brand new chapter for the Pokemon series, and maybe in the future we can get more games like it based off of other regions so we can see more about their development. I think a game like this based off the Unova region as they go through a lot of construction and development would be very cool. I also wonder what this means for the Let's Go style of games, if they were just a one-off thing with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, or if we'll potentially see more games like them from other regions like the Johto region. There was some speculation that the Diamond and Pearl remakes would be in the Let's Go style and fall in that whole Let's Go category, which would have made sense since it did seem like the Let's Go games were basically the new template for remake Pokemon games, but that wasn't the case for the Diamond and Pearl remakes. Either way, in the end, I am very excited and curious about both of these games. I think it's good to have questions since it keeps us invested in the games until they finally come out. We still have at least a year's wait or so for Legends Arceus, as the release date is set to only early 2022 right now, and as for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, we pretty much know what we're getting since they're just remakes of an existing Pokemon game releasing later this year. Let me know what you think of these new Pokemon games in the comment section down below, and also be sure to leave a like on the video since one like really does help the channel a ton, and subscribe for more Pokemon videos so you don't miss them in the future. And with all that being said, I want to thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all next time, and bye bye.